Chance, this is the first time we've got to talk to you since you transferred here. So, can you kind of just take us through your reasoning for deciding you were going to come to Ole Miss?
Yeah, for sure. So I graduated in Maryland, so that made the graduate process a little bit easier. It's a smoother transition. That was before the rule change had come about. I lived in Maryland my whole life. It's probably about 35 minutes from campus. It's a great experience. Just wanted to kind of branch out, do something new. I think it's good for young men to get out and do something, get away from home. So I thought that was good, and I loved everything about Ole Miss, and it was a great fit. And so I just married up pretty well.
You talk about leaving Maryland for really the first time. What was kind of the biggest surprising thing about moving to Mississippi for you?
Oof. That drive was a little bit longer than I thought. So I put all my stuff in the car. It was a little bit over 14 hours. So it was kind of funny. The further I drove south, the hotter it got. So that was new. But yeah, that was like it was a pretty smooth change. And I was really fortunate, and everybody here did a really good job just kind of acclimating me, and the people are super welcoming here. So there wasn't really too much that was difficult.
How important was your relationship with DJ and kind of getting you to come down here?
Yeah, that was really important. I knew Coach Durkin, obviously, from the recruiting process in Maryland, and then the short time that I had with him. And then when I entered the portal and found out that this would be an opportunity, that was like, it was comforting again, leaving home, having a familiar face. So that was really important. I think a ton of him as a coach and about his ability to develop players and develop men.
Statistically, last year this defense was pretty bad. You've got an outside perspective. You've played on other defenses. What is your general thought on the defense and how they could possibly turn things around this year?
Yeah, I think playing with effort and aggression are like two really easy things to do, and I think that obviously being new, I watched tape, but I hadn't been here for what happened previously, but I can speak on what I've seen now, and guys are flying around, guys are making plays. It's important to them. They care about the scheme and doing, like, locking in on their job, doing the best that they can do, the best of their ability, and then just playing together. I think is really important when you see a defense that flies around and everybody does their job, and that's when some magical stuff starts to happen.
Hey, Chance, has it been weird going from having an established spot on a roster, on a depth chart, to having to compete in a new place again after you've been in college for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you approach the game the right way, you never feel comfortable. So I'd like to say that at Maryland that I tried to keep that in the back of my mind, that it wasn't a comfortable spot to be, and whatever I thought I had established to kind of reconsider that, because roles should change daily. But I think it's a good habit to be somewhere where that is a little more like overtly obvious. So I think that was good for me, and I think that's good because when you get someone out of their comfort zone, then you can learn a little bit more about yourself, and so that was really good for me.
You brought up the transfer portal, and that's something that gets a lot of headlines. What is that experience like in that whole process? I imagine it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it's definitely a beast. I wasn't a guy who was super heavily recruited. I was never a super big fan of the recruiting process. The one thing I will say that I think it's a little bit, I was fortunate enough that I was able to have some tape. And so I think that kind of cleaned up the process for me a bit, but it's a little more straightforward. I think you're getting recruited in high school, you're 16, 17. Some guys are like real talented, 14, 15. But so there's a maturity level. So when you're 21, it's just a different process. It's a little more straightforward, and I think everybody kind of understands the role and what people are going into it and what both parties want. So I was fortunate that I was able to kind of go through college for a little bit, and then there's the little recruiting that I had in high school to kind of build on that, learn from it, and then apply that to the second go-around.
Chance, you only played, 4 games last year? Does it feel like you played a season last year? Or does it kind of feel like it's been 2 years since you, just kind of what is it like when you had such uncertainty in the Big Ten last year?
Yeah, no doubt. It's strange. Like some days it feels like, we were kind of at it since June, I believe, is when we reported back. And obviously the Big Ten was a bit funky and we had some ups and downs, tons of ups and downs. But I think we started in June and finished in December, so it feels like a full season. But when you go back and you got to watch some of the tape, as a team we played 5 games, and personally I played 4. I missed the last one, so it's strange a little bit. So, but it doesn't feel. I was happy when I came here. I didn't feel like it had been a long time since I played ball, so for that I was happy.
Chance, did you come here sight unseen with the COVID restrictions on officials and official visits going on? Or did you make it down here on your own, check it out, or how did that go down?
No, I first time that I saw Oxford, Mississippi was on car landing here and the feet touched the ground. So that was definitely I wanted to get out here. It was just tricky, obviously, as you talked about with COVID restrictions. So that was a little bit challenging, and obviously being from Maryland, being real close to that campus, I was there all the time before I decided to go. So making a new decision without seeing something was difficult, but I think it speaks a lot about the people here that I felt comfortable to make that decision without having seen the campus and like actually shaking some hands here. So I'm really lucky for the people that are here to have made that a comfortable transition.
Chance, like it was said earlier, this is a first time meeting with us. Can you just describe your game to the fans that might be unfamiliar with your film from Maryland?
Talking about like personally how I play. Yeah, I try to play with a ton of effort, ton of heart. Fly around. I try to play smart. Try to understand my role in the defense, and try to understand what the offense is trying to attack. And then physical. Kind of throw my body around. I think football is a physical game, and I think it says a lot to be able to play that way. And I think it's good for your teammates to see someone who kind of puts their body on the line. So that's what I'll try to do.
On Sunday, I saw you working with the 1 some, saw you working with the 2 some. Where do you sort of see yourself in terms of the competition right now?
Yeah, I'm not really super concerned about where it is in terms of a depth chart. Just working on getting better. That was one of the main reasons, one of the biggest reasons that I came here is I think I can help. I hope I'd be able to help Ole Miss, but I know for sure that they'd be able to help me. So I know that if I just keep getting better personally, I think that's going to help the team, and that's what we're all after.